Good evening. This is the Tibet Center, Kunchap Tardu Ling, the Buddhist Meditation and Study Center located in New York City and northern New Jersey. And tonight we're in northern New Jersey at our parsonage in South Orange. We're studying the Lam Rim, specifically referencing this new book called Practicing the Path. But tonight we have a few other things. We have a brief meditation from Matthew Ricard's anthology. And we have the Dalai Lama's definitive statements on women from his book, also called Stages of the Path. No original titles here. It's very interesting. He calls it straight like it is. He references every remark he makes with the documentation. He really dug in all kinds of sources. So this is very interesting. And then we have Precious Human Birth section of Practicing the Path, the Lam Rim. So we got a few things to do. We'll start with a short meditation after we say the prayers from a fellow named Nyendrak Lungrig Nima, a couple of 100 years ago. Enigma, but interesting. A poem that's very good for meditating. All the prayers we say are on the website in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. If you have anyone who has passed away recently and you wish us to pray for them, put their names in the chat box now ahead of the time delay, or the time lag, rather, at the end. So the first prayer is prayer for the spreading of the teachings. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. I'm trying to train myself to say Tathagata, as they do in India, instead of Tathagata, but I think it's a losing battle. I did. An old horse, you can't learn new tricks, or an old dog. Generating Bodhicitta is the title. It's Refuge in Bodhisattva Vow. We say the verses 3 times, as is traditional. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So now, as is traditional, we will say one round or one mala's worth of Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who is the personification of compassion. And all these teachings that we have, all of them are motivated by a compassionate wish to remove suffering. So it blends in. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, so as advertised, I have a brief, I think it's 12 verses from this Nyingma Lama, influenced heavily, I'm sure, by Rizal Chen. No title to this poem. It's about 12, 14 verses, something like very quick. Think about each verse for a few seconds and move on. Imprint your mind. Don't worry about if you understand it or not. Let it just roll in. Yendrak Lungrig Nima is the man's name. Although subject and objects are not two, they appear to us as fundamentally distinct entities, and through attachment to them, we further strengthen this tendency. Samsara is nothing else but that. Next verse. While good and bad actions are devoid of true reality, by the power of our intention they produce joys and sorrows, just as seeds of sweet or bitter plants give fruits of corresponding taste. Thus the world appears similarly to those with common karma, and differently to those whose karma is different. All these you could spend an hour on each verse, but let it roll in. In fact, even if one goes, quote, to hell or elsewhere, it is only a change in one's perception of the world. As in dreams, where the things that appear do not exist, the root of all our illusory perceptions is the mind. The nature of mind transcends the notions of existence and non-existence, eternity and nothingness. To this nature is given the simple name, absolute space. Next verse. That space, in itself perfectly pure, that immaculate sky, empty and luminous, with no center or periphery, and that's an interesting concept, has always been in the heart of every being, its face obscured by the temporary veil of mental constructs. This idea of, I think it's Sufis or one of these sects from Istanbul, that idea, someone asked, what is God? And they would say, God is a being whose center is everywhere and whose periphery is nowhere. We have something like that here. I'll read it again. This space in itself perfectly pure. Perfectly pure. That immaculate sky, empty and luminous, with no center or periphery, has always been in the heart of every being, its face obscured by the temporary veil of mental constructs. We could talk for a whole class and questions and debate about a center and with no periphery. Well, why is it a center? We can go on with that, but let it roll. It is, next verse, it is hard to put an end by force of the continuous chain of thoughts. But if, when they occur, their nature is recognized, thoughts have no choice but to be liberated in their own sphere. Without pursuing past thoughts or inviting future thoughts, remain in the present moment and simply recognize the nature of whatever arises in your mind. Relax in simplicity, free of intentions and attachments. Although there is nothing to meditate on, remain fully present without getting distracted. By getting used to the way things occur of themselves without altering anything, primordial wisdom, self-luminous, will arise from within. How is this so, you might ask? And the answer is, if you leave cloudy water undisturbed, it will naturally become clear. Most other meditations are only temporary ways to calm the mind. That's a bomb. That's something you get from Zen, too. You have different waters with different, I was given a lecture once, 3 different glasses, one filled with a red dye with this or with that. And if you leave them all still, they come down to clear water. They're actually the same, although they're appearing differently until they calm down, then they're all clear water. Something like that. It's a parable. It's gone through Buddhism all these years. The space of great unchanging emptiness and the simple luminosity of uninterrupted wakeful presence have always been inseparable. You must yourself experience that essential thing, which is within you. No one can do it for you. So you got your assignment for the rest of your lives, plural. His Holiness Dalai Lama. A reading excerpts. He's an expert, but From this book called 14 Dalai Lama's Stages of the Path. It's edited and put together by Dayab Chabjon Rinpoche. He's interviewed His Holiness. He explains in the beginning of the book, it's a 2-volume set. This is the first volume. Translated admirably by Gavin Kilty, who, whatever he touches is very helpful. I hope he lives long and happy forever, as long as I'm around anyway, after that. So this is page 369, and it goes on for like almost 100 pages, a little less, about 80 pages. Gender inequality and looking down on women contravenes Buddhist tenets. That's the title of this section. Gender inequality and looking down on women contravenes Buddhist tenets. So he goes back into history, and he says, in ancient societies, this is His Holiness's words now, in ancient societies there was no inequality between men and women. Tasks were undertaken together, and there are accounts that even as hunters, women were equal to men. However, gradually, as societies developed, factors such as sexual misconduct led to communities being ruled by chieftains. In the past few thousand years of human history, power and might were seen as especially important, and without paying any heed to mental strength. And there's a big theme. If you're strong and everything physically, that's everything. Not really, especially not today. So there's no need for this attitude today. They weren't paying any heed to mental strength or integrity or intellect. Physical strength was considered to be of prime importance. Thus, men became important and were regarded as being possessed of power. This led to the male sex occupying the front row both in society and in the home. Because men had more power to confront enemies, were braver, more heroic, had more anger, they were leaders in warfare. In the past, there were no female soldiers, and butchers were men, and so on. This, too, is because of the above reasons, it seems. In ancient times, local Indian tradition paid considerable attention to caste divisions and their relative purity. In particular, it was a society in which men traditionally held the power. This concept of men and women possessing different social status was absorbed into Tibetan society. He's giving the points and showing how a lot of what is assumed to be Buddhist is not. It's societal, it's cultural. He'll develop these ideas here and there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, it'll take all year, but just places where I underline, just to give you a taste, and to make the point that there's absolutely no basis for gender inequality, especially in a Buddhist practitioner. This was true not only of the religious world, but could be seen even in some established secular traditions. Talking about Tibet now. When men were regarded as powerful, blacksmiths, butchers, and so on were held to be of low caste. The Indian idea of what you did for a living gave you a hierarchical status, and that's it. Never mind what you did after work. Such attitudes of the past are completely outdated. He always says things like, the war is outdated, according to him. So, in many countries, he continues, even in China, India, and Africa, where women were traditionally bound into servitude and there was no recognition of gender equality, campaigns and effective protests are working to override these outdated customs and to bring about improvements. These are excellent. So he's with you on the front lines of protest. Therefore, I always take the position of sincerely supporting the struggle for women's rights. That's it. Page 370. He made it. Modern generations have been taking an interest in the progress of human society and in education, and there has been a gradual recognition of the importance of the power of the intellect, through which it has become abundantly clear that the capability of females are on a par with those of males, however you look. Look around. Of course it is. Therefore, discussions on the need for gender equality are right and sensible. In this new generation, in keeping with the increase in population, I think it is important that caring and nurturing be accomplished with intelligence, discernment, kindness, and compassion. That involves connections on both the physical and mental level, I feel. For example, men are not that effective in caring for children with great love and compassion, whereas in women this is a natural aptitude. Similarly, women have a greater tolerance for facing up to hardships. They easily express their feelings, are kinder, more affectionate, have a greater sense of concern, and are humbler than men. In general, their physical expression of emotion is better, and so on. With such qualities, they have greater capabilities of caring for others. These days, most nurses are women. The 8 nannies described in Buddhist texts are probably so called because of these qualities. And there's a footnote there. We won't go off the road for that. It takes too much time. Generally, in human nature, both anger and love exist. But there clearly seems to be this difference in the strength of these two between men and women. Therefore, we need to create an education system based on compassion, which can transform the mind. That's part of his secular ethics program. On that point, from the perspective of possessing a greater natural affection, women should take on greater responsibilities. Therefore, I think that if there were more intelligent women elected as influential world leaders, the world would be safer and less trouble. What do you think? You can't answer because I can't hear you. But think about it. From a Buddhist perspective, in the final thinking of the Buddha, there is no view that discriminates between men and women. He will develop this idea now. He taught that all living beings are capable of, or have the same opportunity of, attaining enlightenment, which is why we're all here. And he did not make a distinction by stating that women have less opportunity. All human beings enjoy equal rights when it comes to happiness and suffering. This is a value shared by all those who possess a human form. When explaining whether the 18 freedoms and endowments, which we're going to talk about, we're in the middle of that top section of the Lamrim, are complete among those who possess a human form, no distinction is made on the basis of gender. Doesn't say. Now, he'll bring up whether it's better to be born a male, bring up texts like this and show you where they're wrong. He's going against some of his own established traditions. He's a brave person. All the practices taught from the gaining of a human form with its hard to achieve freedom endowments up to the final practices of bodhisattva training are there to be practiced by male or female, monastic or laity equally. That's it. Monk, none. Lay male, lay female, same. Even the manner of entering the monastic life and taking vows is the same for men and women, with no differentiation. And no differentiation is made on the basis of gender. This is a feature of Buddhism. During the time of the Buddha, the monastic discipline sutras speak of male and female lay practitioners, the ones from the time of Buddha. Vinaya became Vinaya. Therefore, the highest set of vows, those of full ordination, were available for both male and female. Buddha did not follow the caste system in that respect. He was in ancient India. He was a big revolutionary in that regard. His Holiness continues, the entourage of the Buddha consisted of fully ordained monks and nuns and male and female lay practitioners. When these 4 sections of the ordained and lay entourage were assembled, that place was said to be, quote, a central region, place where the Dharma is cultivated. Anywhere else was regarded as a peripheral region, and some type of barbaric region, peripheral. He's being kind. However, reflecting the gender inequality of ancient India, fully ordained monks and nuns and novice monks and nuns were subjected to unequal status. And the Buddha was said to have required fully ordained monks and novice monks to always go first and sit in front of any assembly. However, fundamentally, he himself afforded them equal status. So part of it is a bow to the cultural milieu. I don't know. He continues. I'm going to check the time too, because make one too long. Yeah, that's sometimes. Spend another 6-7 minutes.
So that he would bow to the cultural milieu.
He allowed the men to sit in the front, and that looks like he did. Why, I don't know. But
maybe if he didn't, they would lose confidence in
the society. It wouldn't take. It would look bad, and so would people be immediately repelled. Like you don't introduce a lot of topics of Buddhism right away to beginners, because you believe that? No. Gradually. So, possibly, but this is a subject of debate. And Mark, it's going to be in Union Square Park tomorrow debating.
Come on, come on.
With the Bodhisattva vows and Tantric vows, now we're getting to the real protein element. There is no division on the basis of gender. Okay? This is big. And no difference in the number of vows to be taken. In the Tantric vows especially, as well as there being no inequality in terms of gender, in the higher class of Tantra, Anatara Yoga Tantra, in other words, it is not only improper to look down on women, but to do so constitutes a breach of a root Tantric vow. Later on he says some of these lamas are violating the vows. He really does. So that's very important. Taking Tantric vows, part of it is you do not look down on women. There's nothing there that says you do not look down on men. So the women get away with it. I don't know. So, but to do so, a breach of the same is not taught for looking down on a man. Moreover, not physically circumambulating or not prostrating to a woman or not visualizing oneself as doing so is taught as a fault that contravenes the Vajra vehicle discipline. So you're breaking the Tantric vows. You consider yourself, quote, a Tantric practitioner or whatever. Women are to be looked up at in that context. Something different is going on. So you can ask. I can't tell you because I don't know. I'm reading from a book.
So, I mean, these days, the Sangha, like, the women are practicing Tantra equally to men.
Supposedly.
I mean, we're all probably not
They don't have to worry about looking down on men.
We're trying our best, but I
Yeah.
mean, is there a difference between, is that referring to women who are not practitioners? Or is it referring to women who are practitioners?
All women.
Or
All women. What they represent, that essence of the female energy, has to be, for many reasons. I'm not a tantric person, so, but there's something going on with the female element, so we want to call it that. I'm not an expert in it. Prana, whatever, I don't know. That's a topic I really shouldn't even open my mouth on, because I don't know. I haven't had the privilege of going on long retreats in India under a master, but that's what it says, and it makes sense. And let's leave it at that. Somebody who comes at Serkang Ten Shop, somebody on that level, they can answer properly.
Yeah.
I would only throw you off with speculation. I'm not even a scholar, let alone a practitioner of that type. So, the deity Tara, from the time she generated bodhicitta until she became enlightened, remained in female form. She is the personification of the actions of every Buddha and the most renowned of all the important goddesses. Buddha activity is a quality of the Buddha. It's like the ability to non-conceptualize, do what has to be done. She represents that. So there's a lot of energy in there. And there is a reason to visualize her, visualize yourself as her, etc. And that creates the cause of you having this power of Buddha activity. Chun-Li, I think, something like that. Where's Simon? We need him. Call him up. Get him off the plane. She's the personification of the actions of every Buddha, the most renowned of the important goddesses. In deity assemblies and as the sources of instruction, there are many of female form, the assembly, etc. Because of this, it is said that if a practitioner of Tantra dreams of a woman, she is to be regarded as a dakini. And the practitioner of Tantra, if there's a dream of a woman, she is to be regarded as a dakini, the woman you dream of. And there are accounts and biographies where the words she speaks are recognized as prophecies. It's a big deal. Most pure vision lineages are transmitted through dakinis, and the custodians of teachings are mostly dakinis. There is also a tradition of referring to female practitioners as dakinis. Offerings are made by offering goddesses. There are no offering gods. What, they're too lazy? What's wrong? I want names. The deities who actually confer empowerments are the four goddesses and so on, as is clear in the empowerment manuals. Next paragraph. There are praises of women in life stories of a myriad dakinis and in the prayers of Treasure House of the Four Joys and the Magic Vajraki, all by the fifth Lelong Jedrung, 1697-1740, a.k.a. Pema Jepe Dorje. He's giving you his sources. He goes to court. When he makes a statement, he shows the evidence. Really a scholar. Also, Ju Mipam, who we know, Mipam, composed one, Pleasing Smile of Sarasvati, a brief description of the yoga of the mudra of bliss and emptiness. 2, Hook to Attract the Heart, essence of the host of Dakinis. 3, Courier of the Four Joys, a song to recall the queen of passion. And 4, a dance to move the hearts of the Dakinis, a great bliss whirl, WHORL, of joy. In all of these, he praises and venerates the qualities of women. Some of these should be in English. I don't know. I have to do some digging. But Mipam is fairly recent, late 1800s, something like that, 1897. I don't know. Big, what's the word? Remake, non-sectarian. Right? So, therefore, next paragraph. It is not just womankind that holds an important position because of being placed in the category of, quote, wisdom. Even the common high regard of just the word mother is something that we do not see fit to expunge from our traditions and customs. Yes, mother this, mother that. For example, the person we recognize as our closest companion or relative is our mother, and that importance is represented in the phrase, all mother sentient beings. It is also used in common expressions such as mother monastery to refer to the central monastery, mother house to refer to the main house, mother department, mother meaning, mother base, mother money, which is capital funds, mother money, mother cost, mother scripture. And what about the Prajnaparamita, the mother? Mother gives birth to the realization of emptiness. Custom of adding the word mother to words in order to emphasize their importance is evident everywhere, and I think it's evident in a lot of societies. Nevertheless, it is dependent upon male and female together, as equal partners, that we have the external world and its inhabitants, and especially our human societies with their family networks, political systems, economies, religions, cultures, and so on. Everywhere we have to live in the reality of mutual dependence. Let's not forget it. Therefore, equality between men and women is fundamental. Men and women, plural, is fundamental. This is illustrated with the examples such as man and woman, brother and sister, elder brother. When we mention these things, we mention them together. King and queen, etc., and so forth. We don't. He's just saying how even common languages reflect a fact that we overlook, the necessity of living in the reality of mutual dependence. That has deep implications. Living in the reality of mutual dependence. I like it. Some Buddhist scriptures seem to teach a difference between men and women. Buddha preached the Sutra of women becoming men, for example, in the Vinaya Sutras, when explaining the Eightfolds to his disciple Ananda, the Buddha says, do not request for women to be adorned and to be ordained to become full monastics. He's giving you counter-arguments now about how people base it. Well, it says in the scripture this. Also, and further, also an entourage of women has not been accepted. Although an entourage of women has not been accepted, you have interceded for Prajapati, a woman's name Prajapati, to become ordained. As a result, where the doctrine of the Buddha was to have lasted for 5,500 years, with women ordained, it will last 500 years fewer. So he's giving you the negative scriptures about women. What time? Well, a few more minutes because we're eating up into Lamrem time. In the sutra requested by the householder, Ugur describes 60 faults of women. In the sutra edition, the Treasury of Abhidharma states that a definitive bodhisattva has to accumulate for 100 eons the karma that will ripen into the major features of an enlightened being, and that body required for such an accumulation, and the body of the enlightened being itself has to be a male body. When enumerating the 8 fruitions, it says being male. The focus of the prayer is to take the body of a male. As mentioned above, in the monastic discipline sutras, the Buddha does not differentiate between male and female on the issue of ordination. Therefore, the above statement that if men were ordained and thereby plants the roots of liberation will benefit the doctrine, the duration of the doctrine, whereas women, such as Prajapati, were to ordained, and thereby plants the roots of liberation, which shorten the duration of the doctrine, is clearly contradictory if you hold it as true. He's saying that's not correct. It's up for interpretation, and he gives thumbs down. Moreover, the Buddhas who show the deeds of the Supreme Incarnation would not have all four components of their entourage, and Shariputra and Moggallana would not have been prophesied. Moreover, the Buddha said that until his mother and father were placed into the realm of truth, he would not reveal the deed of passing into nirvana. Therefore, regardless of whether he was requested to do so by Ananda, the Buddha definitely ordained women over time. Furthermore, if the above were true, we would have to say that the Buddha, working for the benefit of others and treating all equally like the sun, would shorten the life of the doctrine. Therefore, it is not impossible that the above scriptural texts were tainted assertions influenced by attitudes of society in those times. He's saying you got to throw them out, more or less. Without examination and analysis, merely on the basis of that scriptural text existing, it is not right to hold it as being literally true and to accept it. So he's taking a very bold statement there. We can continue this later on in other classes, but the point I want to make is that he's going back, analyzing, his favorite habit, and showing you the contradiction, and there's no basis for inequality of gender, especially in the tantric part where the females are venerated out of necessity. Anyway, put it that way. That's a good one. Now, we're using this Practicing the Path by Yangtze Rinpoche, his Lamrim. I never met Yangtze Rinpoche, but I met this book and I thought it explains things rather well, easy to read, and it's on a par with all the other texts of Lamrim that we have. He is a student of Geshe Sopa. In the past life, he was a teacher of Geshe Sopa. So the lineage we've been using for commentary, the Geshe Sopa lineage, for want of a better word, he's right in sync with it. And the language is very bright and very easy to understand. And he focuses on this topic rather than that, with giving time to certain topics that appeal to us. So it flows. So I'm going to page 87 in the Precious Human Birth section. Like when I say this is ridiculous. I'm talking like I'm a machine. Hang on, I have to rehydrate. Darren's still here? Hey. By some great fortune, page 87, if you have the keeping score, if you have the text. By some great fortune, all of us here today have found the human rebirth and have the incredible opportunity to be able to train in the practices of the three paths. It is far easier to attain enlightenment from our present state than it is to reach a higher rebirth from the hell realms. He's giving you a relative position. Just to reach higher realms from the hell realms, not becoming Buddha, is harder than becoming Buddha from the place that we're in. We have to give ourselves a good template, a good gestalt, if they still use that word. If we were to imagine that our path to enlightenment is like a mountain, here it's pretty easy, our present human rebirth alone would place us more than halfway up. Well, that's good. Maybe we'll hit a funicular on the way and get even higher. I'm thinking this way. The tantric path is your funicular. And if you're a bodhisattva, you have to enter it because you'll become a Buddha faster, is what you want to do. So if you're qualified, His Holiness says this a lot, you must, not you could or you should, you must enter the tantric path. That's him. So from here, even though we may not be able to reach the peak tomorrow, at least we can prevent ourselves from falling all the way down. Yes, that's true. Hang on. Of course, if we try to think about the rarity of our perfect human rebirth in terms of its causes, without a firm belief in the existence of past and future lives, the reasoning will be difficult to apply. So to apply a lot of Buddhist reasonings, you need a mental background, a flexible thing that allows the analysis to take place. You have to cultivate that. That's his point here. So to begin, we need to understand early on how the five aggregates are established as the basis for imputing the I, nominating the I. When we talk about the five aggregates, we are not just referring to the form aggregate, no, but also to the aggregate of consciousness, especially. The cause and effect relationship, whereby virtue brings its corresponding result and non-virtue brings its corresponding result, is established on the basis of consciousness. It's an interesting way to look at it. That's something to say, yeah, I know, but hold the thought a little and set on it, and then move on. If we have faith or belief in this, or even if we don't totally believe in it, but we think that it's possible, we're not throwing it out, we're not blocking the idea, might be, hypothetically, we thus have the basis for applying the reasoning of creating the causes to generate the result of perfect human rebirth. We have the reasoning that causes us to generate the result of perfect human birth. If we have complete wrong view, meaning that we are totally certain that cause and effect don't exist, we have absolutely no basis for the application of this kind of logic and reasoning. Hold that for a second, you'll understand. It's pretty smart. You got to clear the mind. And when you analyze, you got to analyze on firm footing, like climbing a mountain. You don't go higher until you have a firm footing where you are and possibility of going up. When we are unable to appreciate the opportunities of our perfect human birth affords us, it is almost like we have not been born with these leisures at all. That's a big point. We don't have appreciation, then what's the use of talking about leisures? No, you won't have this again. Make use of it. It's very important. This is an opportunity. We're giving away free money. Get over here now in the next hour. You'll get over there. When we spend our human lives obsessed with attachment and desire, chasing after objects that we wish to possess and consume, our mental state is no different than that of being born as a hungry ghost. Ouch. And which is true. You're under the spell of those things. You're not operating with your innate intelligence. You're operating with attachment or aversion sometimes. Where's the wholesomeness of the mind? Where's all the ability of the mind? It's suppressed. When we pass our human lives burning with hatred and anger towards those whom we perceive as our enemies, remember that's not a hard definition, it's our perception, our mind places us in a state of no different than that of a hell being. We want, we're hungry ghosts. We hate, we're in hell. We're in mental hell. Simple. In the same way, when our entire human lifetime is characterized by dullness, confusion, and ignorance, you rang? Our human rebirth is really no difference than a rebirth in the animal realm. One day after the other. You see what he's saying? It's very important. Likewise, if we pass our lifetimes as a human selfishly enjoying the extreme bliss of meditative concentration, completely lacking in wisdom, our mental experience is no different than that of a long-life god. They sit in their complacent bliss, learning nothing, and when that karma that put you there is done, you're back on the pile. Not good. So the idea is you want the precious human birth where it's workable. What do we have? Workable time. We got time. Page 88. Therefore, although on the surface, it may appear that we enjoy the freedom from the states of rebirth that do not allow us the opportunity to practice Dharma, if we are not able to utilize these leisures in this lifetime, then in reality we lack them. We have the ability, but we don't access it. That's silly. That's what he's saying. Second paragraph, page 88. As I have mentioned, the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha are generally categorized into two groups: scriptural teachings and the experiential or realized teachings. The realized Dharma, the real Dharma. In the current time period, which is considered an age of degeneration, the teachings that exist in the experience of practitioners are declining, and as a result we rely more heavily upon the scriptural teachings. That's very interesting.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, that's a big one. No, there's two types, scriptural teachings and that which people study and then realize. And he's saying that in the current time period, which is considered an age of degeneration, the teachings that exist in the experience of practitioners are declining. And as a result, we rely more heavily on the scriptural teachings. However, even though in general, the italicized in general, we say that the realized teachings are declining, if an individual perseveres in the training of ethics, concentration, and wisdom, it may not prove to be so in that individual's case. In other words, no reason to accept that. You apply, you will generate realization. It's just the numbers are less these days. So they gave it, sometimes the Chinese call it Dharma ending age. It's not ending, it's on, come on. I mean, we're not going to let it end, right, Mark? Right. Oh, damn it. So, I want to make this distinction clear. In this way, you see that the responsibility is really in your own hands. You are your own best friend. You are your own protector. That's Buddhism. As Buddha said, I will show you the path to liberation, but understand whether or you are liberated or not, it's dependent on you. We always want to be in control of this. Well, here's your shot, guys and gals. We should persevere in generating the realized teachings in our mind, and we should pray to be able to enhance whatever experiences we are able to generate. And I think there are prayers to that. The Bodhisattva not realized, be realized, not realized being, something like that. You know? But that's the idea. We have to, all this is internal. I mean, you can recite this all in class with everybody else, but what's the mind doing as you recite? If you think about it, well, I'll give it a shot. You'll realize that there is really a great deal of work involved in trying to maintain this human body. Now he's showing you the faults of the human body. When it wakes up, you have to give it breakfast, then lunch and dinner, and many things to drink in between. Yes, a lot, please. If your body is not feeling one, you have to give it all kinds of medication. If it's feeling cold, you have to find it heat. If it's feeling hot, you have to find cool conditions. So much maintenance. Yes, the body is high maintenance. We refer to people sometimes, oh, this one's high maintenance. Here he comes. But the body is high maintenance. If you pass your life stagnating in the unhappiness of the self-cherishing mind, you are squandering a great opportunity. If you cannot use your human rebirth to accomplish the ultimate benefit of yourself and others, then all of this maintenance is a total waste. This was stated by Shantideva. This was stated more colloquially today by Yangtze. Very nice. So, if you pass your life stagnating in the unhappiness of the self-cherishing mind, you are squandering a great opportunity. We have to realize the self-cherishing mind is not a good place to be. It might feel good. It might be habitual. It might be your, comfy place or whatever. But it's a rut. It's not a groove. So you have to recognize that. Rare from the point of view example, bottom of page 88. And I'm paranoidically looking at the clock all the time. In general, when we think about the great value of our precious human rebirth, we should focus on ourselves. But when we think about its rarity, we should make the comparison in terms of external conditions. All right, that's not important. An example to illustrate the rarity of our precious human birth is thinking of those born in the lower realms are as plentiful as the grass that grows in the rich valleys, and those born in the higher realms are as rare as grass that grows on the peak of mountains. This little illustration doesn't go over big with New Yorkers who never see grass at all. Maybe in Central Park, even. Kew Gardens, yes, there's a lot of grass in Kew Gardens.
Pretty good.
Very good. Oh, that's good to hear. And they're not smoking it? Oh, very good. In the same way, among those who have attained higher birth, those who have the 8 leisures and the 10 opportunities in the human realm are even more rare than that, and that is true. Spin the globe and look at all the places in the world that are too poor, under the gun, with different kinds of conflicts, no place to study, no teachers are teaching. Tough. Although no matter where you are, if you can get on the internet, you have all the teachings that exist. It's very wonderful. It's a marvelous age. Furthermore, in one of the direct teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha himself, it is stated that beings who migrate from the higher realms to the lower realms are as many as the number of atoms of the earth. And those who migrate from the lower realms to the higher realms are as few as the number of the atoms of the earth that you can hold between your thumb and index finger. Nice illustration. It's staggering. To think about it is really chilling. If it brings up a little fright, that's a good sign. You're breaking through the veil of ignorance. Another analogy utilized in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, that's the Shantideva book he's talking about, is that of the great turbulent ocean in which a blind turtle swims. You've heard of this? It's a little depressing. The turtle is blind. There's a yoke floating on the top, and the blind turtle makes it to the surface every 100 years. Although there is, of course, the possibility that the turtle could one day put its neck through the yoke as its surface, it's a very, very rare event. It's like Las Vegas odds, even worse. So, so that we've here, that's a common way. So I'll skip down to the bottom of the next paragraph on page 89. Even after we have considered the rarity of the great fortune of our precious human rebirth, we might still wonder how this implies that we need to practice Dharma. Yeah. The answer is that as long as we wish happiness in this or future lifetimes, we have no other choice than to rely upon the spiritual path. Boom. That's it. All happiness comes from positive actions, which the spiritual path teaches. That's it. We don't think that way. Happiness comes when I get home and I have a glass of this or that, or when I go on vacation, or when what caused you to have the ability to all that? The spiritual path. Children should say everything good happens from the Buddha. We could thank Buddhahood for all of this, because all these beings that are enlightened are teaching nothing but how to do positive actions, which result in you getting good things. That's their theory behind, some other religions like Islam says everything comes from Allah. What they mean by that, I don't know, but a certain way of looking at things. The Dharma is the ultimate method to eliminate disturbing, unsubdued negative minds that cause all our suffering. So the Dharma eliminates disturbing, unsubdued negative minds that cause all our suffering. How do they cause? So we act motivated by those minds. Once you act with an intention, you planted a seed for a future event to happen. Next 10 minutes or next 10,000 eons, but it's not going away. That's karma, unless you expunge it. So, when we think about the rarity of our precious human rebirth by way of these examples, we should be inspired to make use of this opportunity. That's the purpose. We're pumping ourselves up. As a result of all of these contemplations, the conclusion that we should draw is that it is very necessary to take advantage of this perfect human rebirth right away in this very lifetime, and to be happy about it. I'm happy to do this. Always have that attitude. I remember Ling Rinpoche took over our center. He said, I'm happy to do this. That sort of put a little spark in everyone. It's nice to hear. If you cannot happy, fake it. I can make believe you're a jazz musician. You know that joke? Yeah, you know it. Huh?
Which one?
The jazz musician gets off the train in Penn Station. It's an old one. He said, take me to the Vanguard. And the captain says, I don't know where it is. He said, fake it. So, rare from the point of view of nature, we'll do that quickly, page 89, bottom last two lines. When considering how difficult it is to obtain the result of a perfect human rebirth, we should remember that among all the realms of existence, the greatest number of beings exist in the hell realms. Here's your census, your demographic. A fewer numbers are born in the hungry ghost realm, and fewer than that in the animal realm. And that takes in all the insects. You can imagine the massive population of the hell realm and the hungry ghost realm. When the animal realm considers all the insects we see, billions all over the place. In my apartment, no. And then so, even fewer than the number of beings born in the animal realm are the beings who have the opportunity to be reborn in the human realm. And among those who are born with 8 leisures and 10 opportunities are fewer still. So, appreciating that should another factor of motivating, another reason to motivate yourself. Among those, the ones who have the 8 leisures and 10 opportunities are able to make such fortune worthwhile even more rare. We should contemplate in this way. Very few are practicing. We used to say everybody coming out of the subway, very few are coming up to our class, the Buddhist class. All the cars on the turnpike, none are coming here, but very few. So, we put it that way.
It's easy to be sad about that.
Yes, it is. That's a good point. Mark's. Did you pick it up, Darren?
It's okay.
You heard Mark? Yeah. It's easy to be sad about that if you don't catch yourself. So it's analysis. It's work. It's not just, yeah, very good, not a daydream. So we'll leave it at that.
How should we catch ourselves?
Being alert all the time.
But then, so if we feel
Not full. We fall into habits when we ruminate, and we get a little dull. You have to guard against it. It's natural. It's going to happen.
Or maybe if we feel that sadness, we can try to shift it over.
Oh, if you could, and not be overwhelmed.
No, but I mean, have compassion and try to build that into some kind of bodhicitta motivation.
Have compassion for yourself.
No, I mean, if we see so many beings are in this.
Oh,
state,
I mean this entire. Oh, okay.
So many beings are in this
Yeah.
sorry state.
Yeah,
Then
that's a good way of looking at
I
it.
don't know. It seems hard.
No, but that's better. First of all, you chose to do that, so you shouldn't get depressed about it. You chose
to think about.
to think that way. And the underlying motivation is I have to develop bodhicitta. Uncontrived. What's this?
For later.
Okay, no, for now, it's getting late. Beverly Jackson. We're praying, and we're doing the Sutra of the Three Jewels. That's all we have for tonight. The next Dharma class will be next Monday night in New York City. But we're doing first the three Sutra of the Recollection, Noble Three Jewels for people who have passed away, two of which are Beverly Jackson and Danielle Spencer, and whoever else you wish to put. I prostrate to the Omniscient One, thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi, where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy, and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivable, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So next we have the Lojong teaching, 8 verses for training the mind. You found it? Good. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure, difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. And finally, a prayer for the swift return of Rato Chola Rinpoche, written by the current Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Dorje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed, great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existences end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled, supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Lozang Tempe, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karma Yama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So that ends tonight's session. The next Dharma class will be Monday night at 7 o'clock at 151 West 30th Street. A baseball throw from Penn Station in New York City. The class following that will be right back here at 7 o'clock the Wednesday night of next week in South Orange in our parsonage. On the website, there's instructions on how to get to both places. Thank you for kind, patient listening. Big luck to all of you.